Hey guys, I'm Leah and I am a trained entomologist. Today I'm going to show you how to properly pin and set a butterfly. Within this video, I'm going to show you the whole process of how to do that, as well as the tools that you're going to need. So these are the tools that you're going to need for this process. First, you're going to need your butterfly that you're going to work with. You're also going to need a butterfly board. These guys are made out of styrofoam, and you can either make them yourself or you can already buy them pre-made. In addition, you're going to need a soft pair of tweezers, a clean, sterile syringe, as well as some pins. So these ones here are entomology pins, but sewing pins will work just as good. For the hydrating process, we're going to need some paper towels, a small container to put warm water in, as well as a larger container that fully seals to keep humidity in. For the final setting process, we are going to need 100% silicone, as well as a type of shadow box that you're going to be putting your butterfly into. In addition to that, you can also have whatever kind of foliage or other decorations you want to put within the shadow box with your butterfly. So the first thing we're going to do is unfold our butterfly from the parchment paper that it's in. You want to make sure that you keep this because we'll be using it later on. So we're going to take out our butterfly, and then we're going to take our syringe here and we're going to fill it up with the warm water. So we're going to take our syringe that is now filled with warm water, and we are going to inject the butterfly right between where the thorax and the abdomen meet. So it's typically right where the back legs are, so we're just going to lightly inject the butterfly just a little bit, and then you're going to inject some water into that butterfly just until you see it starting to come out the butterfly. And then you are going to then take that butterfly and place it into your humidity box. I've lined the humidity box with some wet warm paper towels so that it creates that humid environment. And all you're going to do is just place your butterfly down into that box, close it up nice and tight, and you're going to leave it for a couple minutes until it is rehydrated. We're going to wait a few minutes to let our butterfly rehydrate. Depending on how long you wait will depend on how big your butterfly is. Typically, if they're a smaller size like this one, you can wait up to like 3 or 5 minutes. If they're like a lot larger, then you might have to wait up to 10 minutes. The way you want to check to make sure that your butterfly is ready is that you're going to want to take it out of your humidity box, and you're just going to gently check to make sure that the wings are movable and that they've gained back some of that movement. So for this one, it looks like it is ready to go. Pretty much you just want to make sure that you don't hear any cracking or it doesn't feel any tightness to move the wings. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take one of your pins here, and all you're going to do is kind of just gently push the wings open, and you're just going to put that pin right through the center of the thorax, so pretty much right where the wings attach, just in between the two. You're just going to push that all the way down so it looks about like that. So once you put that center pin through the body, all you're going to do is then take your butterfly and put it into the crevice of the butterfly board. You're going to make sure you leave yourself enough room so that you have a full space to spread out those wings. You're then going to get your parchment paper ready. So if your butterfly came in an envelope like mine did here, we're going to just take that parchment paper and we're just going to cut it into a triangle. So I just like to cut these edges off and just use that. Also helps reduce waste. If your butterfly did not come in any kind of parchment paper, all you're going to do is just take a piece of parchment paper and just cut it into little squares so that you can then use it on your wings. So once you're ready to start pinning, all we're going to do is we're going to take our two pieces of parchment paper and we're just going to kind of slide it in between the wings there. Make sure not to get to the antenna. And all we're going to do is just kind of hold those wings down. We're then going to take our pins and just put 2 pins in for right now. This is just to hold them down so that they are currently out of the way. Again, watch that antenna. So now all we're going to do is then take 2 more pins and just place them on either side of the abdomen here. This is just going to prevent it from moving around a lot while we're manipulating the wings. So at this point, your butterfly should look something like this. So now we're going to start actually pinning the butterfly. So you're going to start on one side of the wing and you're going to start manipulating that one side. So what we're going to do is just take out these 2 pins just so that we can move it around underneath the parchment paper. At this point, you're going to want to grab your soft tweezers because you're going to use this to grab the wing. So all you're going to do is just put those tweezers underneath the parchment paper, and you're going to grab the top wing first, and you're just going to gently lift it up. If the tweezers aren't quite moving, you can also use your fingers to do this, but just try not to touch the butterfly as much as possible because the more you touch it, the more you're going to damage the scales on the wing. Once you get that top wing all the way up, you're going to want to get it to a vertical level. So you just want to make sure that bottom of the wing is going straight across like that. You're then going to take the bottom wing and pretty much bring it up to where that top wing is. So again, using your tweezers, you're just going to push it up a little bit, just until it looks at a nice angle for you. And then all you're going to do is just take some more pins and just secure it all the way down. So I like to go just all the way around the wing with these pins, just to keep it all the way down and held nice. So pretty much just at every point, just put a pin just so that it stays there. So then once you have all your pins in, you should be able to let go and your butterfly wing will stay in place. So this is what one side of the completed butterfly looks like. Please take note that the pins are not going through the butterfly wing itself. They're just on the outside edge of the parchment paper. So you want to go through the parchment paper, but not through the wing. Now, once that one side is done, you're pretty much going to do the exact same thing to the other side. So when you're done, you're going to want to make sure that you look at your butterfly. While you're moving that second wing, you're going to want to look back at your first wing and make sure that that didn't move around. If it did move a little bit, you can go back and fix it. But if it didn't move, then you're good to go to the next step. So once you're done those two wings, now you're going to look at the butterfly's antennae. If your butterfly still has antenna, all you can do is just use a pin and just push those two antennae down. If your butterfly doesn't have antennae still, then that is totally okay. Just leave it the way it is and you are pretty much done. But if it does have, like mine here, you can just kind of manipulate them until you get them to a good position that you like. So this is what your pinned butterfly should look like at the end. So once it is completely done and you're happy with the way it looks, we're going to then take this butterfly and we're going to leave it in a dry space for about a week. If your butterfly has a thicker body, what you're going to want to do is leave it for a little bit longer just to make sure that that moisture is completely out of the butterfly. So about a week and a half or about 2 weeks is good for the ones with the thicker bodies, but for this one here, we're just going to leave it for a week. So these ones here have been sitting for about a week now, so they're ready to come off the board. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take out all of the pins that we have around the wing. So to do that, you're going to make sure that you push down on that parchment paper just slightly, just enough so that that paper doesn't fly up when you pull out the pin. And we're just going to do that for each of them now. So this is what your finished butterfly should look like. Please note that I do still have that center pin in through the butterfly. You're going to want to make sure that you keep that in the middle, at least until you're ready to put it into a shadow box. This pin allows you to pick it up easily without having to touch the butterfly itself. So keep that in until you're ready to fully frame it. So once you've picked out a shadow box that you like, you're going to take your butterfly and you're going to remove that center pin finally. So you're going to want to make sure you do that very carefully so not to damage your butterfly. You're also then going to take your 100% silicone and you're just going to draw a thin line of that silicone just down the center of that butterfly's body on the underside. You're then going to take that and place it where you'd like in your shadow box. You're going to then want to leave your butterfly sitting out for a day just to allow that silicone to dry. Once it's been a day, you're then going to seal up that lid. So what you're going to do is you're going to put a small bead of silicone on the inside of that lid, just enough so that when you fully shut the lid, that silicone attaches to the bottom and it fully seals in your butterfly. This is just going to make sure that it keeps out any of that moisture or anything that can get in. So now that you have your new piece of art, you're going to want to make sure that you place it in a location that is out of direct sunlight. If they do get direct sunlight, it can cause the wings to fade and discolor over time, which is not very nice. You're also going to make sure that you place it into a location that does not have high humidity. So make sure it's not in a bathroom or anywhere that gets really high humidity, just because over time this can cause your butterfly to mold. So this is the method that I use to pin a butterfly. There are way more ways to do this, but this is what I find works best for me. So make sure you experiment and figure out which way works best for you. This is also a very fragile process, so it does take a lot of practice. So if you mess up your first butterfly or if it starts losing wings or antennae, don't worry about it, just keep practicing. Everyone has to start somewhere. So that's it for me, guys. I hope you learned a little something about how to pin a butterfly today. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. We'll be putting out new videos every week here at Jacobs Trading. Also, if you have any questions about entomology in general or how to pin other bugs or other butterflies, hit them up in the comments and I'll be sure to get to them.